Hello, are you good? It's nice to be in London. It's so nice to be in London. I love how you all just hate each other. It's incredible. I have huge news. I've just survived my first colonoscopy. Thank you. I do feel like that the most imminent threat there is at the moment for gay men is sassy middle-aged female doctors that like to be sassy with the gays. I do feel those type of people, they're very, very difficult. Like when I first told my doctor that I was gay, the first thing she asked me to do was to recommend a moisturiser. Which, I'm sorry, like you don't just suck a dick and get a list. That's not the way it works. But she did recommend I go for a colonoscopy and I went to get one and I assumed that you would be knocked out for that. And I said, I presume they'll put me out for that. And she said, no, doctor. She said, no, Gearóid, what they do is active sedation. Now, I didn't know what that was, and I asked her what it was, and instead of telling me it was just a little injection in my arm that made me a little bit woozy, instead of saying that to me, she said, don't you worry about active sedation, Gearóid, it's just like a couple of gin and tonics. Now, that's a bit different, isn't it? I've been in situations where I've had a couple of gin and tonics, and there's been somebody messing around in that area. That is not something I want to play out in a room full of medical professionals, thank you very much. If you're having a colonoscopy, you want to know that you will be knocked out cold, not that you could potentially be playful. I was worried about that for 3 full days in the run-up to that procedure. 3 days, that's what was on my mind. That's what I was worried about. My boyfriend was dropping me in. We were stopped at traffic lights and he looked over and he said, what's wrong, Gearóid? Are you genuinely worried there could be something seriously wrong? And I said, no. That's not what I'm worried about. What I wanted to say was, I'm genuinely worried that I could accidentally put my leg on the doctor's shoulder and say, okay, big boy, let me have it. That is not what I should have been worried about going in for a colonoscopy. Now, obviously, because this is a public forum, I have to say that if you have to have a colonoscopy, for God's sake, get it done. It's absolutely fine. You don't feel a thing, and the people are absolutely lovely. At one point, the doctor said to me, he said, look, Gearóid, I don't know why you're fretting. You're not going to feel any of this. It's going to be fine. The only time you can feel something is when we turn the camera. He said, we're going to do that now. You might feel a bit of pressure. I said, I doubt it. I've been gay for 20 years. You could turn a Nissan Micra. And you probably wouldn't clip the wing mirrors. I feel I've appalled you for long enough. My name is Gearóid. My show is called Gearóid Rage, which, if you can pronounce Gearóid, that's a really great pun. I did do Gearóid Less Travelled a couple of years ago, not successful. Yeah, it was called Gearóid Less Travelled by the end of the Fringe, which is a very different show. You've been very nice. Thank you very much. I've been Gearóid Farrelly. Good night.